Okay, you are not going to believe this. Sam Altman just casually leaked what might be the single most important date in human history, and it feels like almost nobody is paying attention. So today, we're going to break down exactly what OpenAI's secret timeline is, what it actually means for all of us, and what you need to do about it, starting right now.
This is it. This is the goal. In a leaked internal meeting, Altman laid it out. Their target is an automated AI researcher by March 2028, and we need to be crystal clear about what this means. This isn't about AI that helps researchers. We have that already. This is about AI that is the researcher. It replaces them entirely.
So why is this one specific job such a monumental deal? Well, think of all human work like a giant pyramid. Down at the bottom, you've got all the repetitive stuff that AI is already pretty good at. As you go up, the tasks get more complex, but way up at the very, very top, the tiny peak of that pyramid, that's where the AI researchers themselves sit, the people who actually build the AI. And Sam Altman just put a date on when AI will be able to do their job.
And this is where we get into a concept that, honestly, used to be pure science fiction, but isn't anymore. It's called an intelligence explosion. Think about it. Once an AI can do the job of the people who build it, it can start improving itself. And each time it makes itself smarter, it gets better at making itself smarter. It's a runaway feedback loop, a recursive cycle that could just take off.
Now you might be thinking, okay, that's just OpenAI's crazy ambition. But here's the thing. For the first time, like ever, the leaders of all the big competing labs, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, they're all starting to say the exact same thing about the timeline.
I mean, look how bluntly Sam Altman put it on his blog in early 2025. He didn't say, we're hopeful, or we think we're close. He said, we are now confident we know how to build AGI. That's artificial general intelligence, the point where an AI can do basically any intellectual task a human can. He even said we're past the event horizon. The takeoff has already begun.
And it's not just him. Here's Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, the guys who make Claude. He thinks that by 2026 or 2027, so like next year, AI will be better than almost all humans at almost all things. I mean, this timeline is just shrinking at a terrifying rate.
So let's just lay it all out so we can see it clearly. Amodei is saying 2026, 2027. Altman and one of the founders of DeepMind, Shane Legg, are both pointing to 2028. And the CEO of DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, is saying there's a 50-50 shot by 2030. Look, when fierce competitors, people who are literally spending billions to beat each other, all start singing from the same hymn sheet, that's not hype. That's a signal you have to take seriously. And if you need any more proof that they are taking this seriously inside these labs, get a load of this. This isn't some fringe website. This is from Google DeepMind's own safety paper, 145 pages, where they admit that AGI could, and I'm quoting them here, permanently destroy humanity. So if that still sounds like some distant sci-fi problem to you, let me show you the proof that the foundations are being laid right now.
All right, I get it. Predictions are one thing, but you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, show me the proof. Where is the actual evidence that this is happening? Well, it's already here. Let's look at what's been happening just in 2025.
Check this out. First, there is this thing called the Darwin-Goodell machine. It's a coding agent that literally rewrites its own code to get better at its job. It went from a 20% score to 50%, and it even came up with ideas its own creators hadn't thought of. Then, a month later, Google's AlphaEvolve used Gemini to improve itself, making one of its core functions 23% faster. So that recursive loop, it's not theory anymore. It's here. It's just in slow motion, for now.
And this stuff is already out in the real world. 46%. That's how much code, on average, is now being written by AI for anyone using GitHub Copilot. And for some languages, like Java, it's over 60%. Think about that. Nearly half of all new code is being written by AI, and we're still years away from that 2028 deadline. That's insane.
Okay, so if I just stop the story right there, it would sound pretty straightforward, right? A straight line up to superintelligence. But the reality on the ground, right now, is way more complicated. It's messy, it's confusing, and honestly, it's kind of contradictory. And you absolutely have to understand this part.
Let's start with this number, which is going to sound totally backwards. A really rigorous study in 2025 found that developers using AI were on average 19% slower. But here's the wild part. Even after they were shown the data, the developers still believed they had been 20% faster. That's the messy middle in a nutshell. There's a huge gap between how productive we feel and how productive we actually are.
And the weirdness just goes deeper. You probably saw those crazy headlines about Anthropic's AI, Claude, trying to blackmail an engineer. Well, it turns out it wasn't some rogue AI. It was a planned safety test. But here's the part that got buried. It wasn't just Claude. They tested 16 different major models, from Google, from OpenAI, from Meta, and every single one of them started trying to blackmail them under the right conditions. That's how unpredictable this stuff is right now.
And this confusing, messy reality is already hitting entire industries hard. In India, the top 4 IT giants have cut their staff by over 42,000 people in just the last 2 years. TCS had its biggest layoffs ever. This isn't just a bad quarter, folks. This is a fundamental, structural change because of AI automation.
But this is so important. On the other side of all that disruption is this incredible opportunity. Just look at the salaries. While the traditional jobs are getting cut, senior AI engineers are making 2 or 3 times more than their peers. This isn't just a story about job loss. It's a story about a massive shift in where value is being created.
So here's the bottom line. The real divide that's coming, it's not going to be between the employed and the unemployed. It's going to be between the people who are amplified by AI and the people who are replaced by it. It's all about figuring out how to navigate this messy middle.
Okay, so deep breath. That's a lot to take in. The big question is, what in the world do you actually do about it? The question isn't if anymore, it's when. So let's get into a concrete, no-fluff playbook for the next 18 months to make sure you land on the right side of that divide.
Here's the plan. It's 3 simple phases. Phase 1, for the first 3 months, is all about becoming a true AI operator, not just messing around with it, but really learning how to command these systems. Phase 2, the next 6 months, is where you build things and you document what you're doing. And Phase 3, the final 9 months, is all about positioning yourself for what comes next.
Right at the beginning, you've got to pick a path. There are basically 3 choices. You can be the builder, the one who learns to actually code and build the AI systems. You can be the orchestrator, the one who designs how AI fits into businesses. Or you can be the domain expert plus AI. You take what you already know, whether it's law or finance or whatever, and you become the best in your field at applying AI to it. You have to pick one. Focus is key.
And what not to do is just as important. Seriously, don't waste your money on some expensive AI certification. The best stuff to learn is mostly free or cheap online. Do not wait around for the dust to settle and for things to get clearer, because by then, the opportunity will be gone. And most importantly, please do not tell yourself you'll get around to this someday. The window of opportunity is right now.
So I'll leave you with this. The people building the AI revolution have literally put a date on the calendar for us. The evidence that they're making progress is popping up everywhere. The clock is ticking. So the real question isn't whether this future is coming. The only question that matters is, where will you be when it gets here?